The laughter came before the silence, sharp and careless, cutting through the polished air of the marble-floored bank like something that didn't belong there. A 10-year-old black boy stood near the entrance, his shoes cracked at the seams, the soles thinning from years of walking streets that never seemed to lead anywhere better. His name was Isaiah, and he had walked 6 blocks alone, clutching a folded piece of paper his late grandmother had once pressed into his small hands and told him never to lose. Around him, the bank gleamed with glass, gold accents, and quiet confidence, a place that seemed built to remind people like him that they were only visitors, never owners. Before this story goes any further, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe if you believe kindness can change lives and that everyone deserves a second chance, no matter where they start. Isaiah had never been inside a place like this. The air smelled clean and expensive, and every step echoed too loudly, as if the building itself was watching him. His hoodie was thin, his jeans faded, and his shoes told a story of long days and short comforts. He approached the counter carefully, standing on his toes so he could be seen, holding out the paper with his grandmother's careful handwriting. She had raised him after his mother passed, working double shifts, skipping meals, and saving quietly, always saying that one day this little account would protect him when she no longer could. When she died, the world felt suddenly hollow, and this paper became the last piece of her voice. The bank manager barely looked at him at first. When he finally did, the corners of his mouth lifted, not with warmth, but with amusement. Isaiah felt the heat rise to his ears as the manager scanned him from head to toe, lingering on the torn shoes and frayed sleeves. The laughter followed, not loud, but loud enough, the kind that invites others to notice. Tellers paused. Security shifted. Other customers glanced over, curiosity mixing with judgment. Isaiah's hands tightened around the paper, his fingers trembling, but he did not step back. He had promised his grandmother he would be brave. The manager assumed what he wanted to assume. A child like this could not belong here. A child like this could not have anything worth checking. He waved Isaiah away with a careless gesture, dismissing him as a mistake that had wandered in off the street. The words themselves did not matter as much as the message, which was clear and heavy. You do not belong. You have nothing. Isaiah stood frozen, the room blurring as his eyes filled. He thought of his grandmother's tired smile, the way she used to hum while counting coins at the kitchen table, and something inside him refused to break. As Isaiah turned slowly toward the exit, the heavy glass doors opened again. The sound echoed across the lobby, drawing every eye. A man stepped inside, tall, calm, dressed simply but with an unmistakable presence that shifted the air. He was not flashy, but people moved instinctively to make space, as if power followed him without effort. This was Mr. Caldwell, a major investor and longtime board member of the bank, though Isaiah had no way of knowing that. He had come in quietly, unannounced, to finalize paperwork, but his attention was immediately drawn to the small boy standing alone in the center of the room, shoulders hunched, dignity hanging by a thread. Mr. Caldwell watched the scene unfold, the manager's posture, the boy's silence, the unspoken cruelty hovering between them. He asked for the paper Isaiah still held, and Isaiah handed it over with shaking hands, not understanding why this stranger's eyes were kind when everyone else's had been cold. The room grew quieter as Mr. Caldwell read, his expression shifting from curiosity to disbelief. He asked the teller to pull up the account, and the keyboard click sounded impossibly loud in the hush. What appeared on the screen drained the color from the manager's face. Isaiah's grandmother had not just saved, she had invested. Years earlier, she had received a small settlement from a factory accident, and instead of spending it, she had placed it carefully into long-term funds, guided by advice she barely understood but trusted anyway. Decades of patience, interest, and quiet discipline had transformed her sacrifice into a balance that stunned everyone watching. The number was life-changing, not just for a boy in worn-out shoes, but for anyone. The power in the room shifted instantly. The manager straightened, panic flickering behind his forced smile. Tellers whispered. Security stepped back. Mr. Caldwell turned to Isaiah, lowering himself slightly so their eyes met, and placed the paper back into the boy's hands with respect. He made it clear, without raising his voice, that the way Isaiah had been treated was unacceptable, and that money did not create worth, it only revealed character. Isaiah did not feel triumph. What he felt was relief, mixed with grief. His grandmother had been right. She had protected him even from the grave. The bank arranged everything properly after that, apologies flowing too late to erase the damage, but enough to open doors that had once been locked. Isaiah left the building that day not just with financial security, but with something far more important, the knowledge that his life was not defined by how others judged him at first glance. If this story is touching your heart, please take a moment right now to like the video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to support stories that matter. Outside, the sun felt warmer. Isaiah looked down at his shoes, still cracked, still worn, but they no longer felt like a symbol of shame. They were proof of how far he had already walked. Before the story ends, leave a comment telling us what this moment meant to you and what kindness means in your own life. Isaiah's future would not be easy, but it would be possible, and sometimes, that is the greatest gift of all.